Hey fellow Open World gamers and Dragon Age fans everywhere, how's it going? We are taking a look at brand new gameplay from Dragon Age Inquisition thanks to BioWare. And in this demonstration we are going to be seeing the open world, we're also going to be seeing some animal life too, and then also if you missed it beforehand, there's about a 30-minute demonstration of character creation and customization that you can expect in the game right here on the Open World Games YouTube channel. I will include a link in the description to the video, and then also I recommend if you are into Dragon Age and open world games, go ahead and subscribe right here on YouTube. Stay up to date on Facebook and Twitter because that is our specialty. We love open world games. So guys, here we go. Here is the brand new gameplay demonstration. Enjoy.
My name's Cameron Lee. I'm producer on Dragon Age Inquisition, and this is Mike Laidlaw, the creative director.
Hi guys, how you doing?
So today we're going to be showing a bit of the game. We've got Connell back here as well. He's going to be helping us coordinate some of the questions, etc. Now this particular area is kind of connected to something that was shown at E3. Do you want to talk about that?
It is. I think it's really cool. So when we started E3, you guys may remember me narrating the walkthrough and everything. We started in that awesome cave with the waterfall coming down. What we didn't do was look behind, and behind us there was a door, which leads into here. So
and nugs always hang out there as well.
Yeah, there's always a nug there, just going chirp, unless the mercenary assassins are in the midst of killing it.
Yes,
which can happen at times. But yeah, this is a nice. Think of it as E3, the alternate path.
That's right. Yeah.
So this area would have been a dwarven area where they built up to the surface and then kind of sealed it back off.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's fallen into some disrepair. Some of the cavern has collapsed because the dwarves have had to abandon it. And as we've come here, it's usually to investigate the fact that there are some Carta that are now kind of taking it over and are using it in some way.
And you have to sort of the door is locked initially, so you have to try and find a key and
there's I believe there's 3 different ways you can get in there.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I only thought there was one.
Yeah,
so there you go.
There's one for exploration early. There's a plot event that can also take you in there or take you back there, possibly.
Yes.
And if you've cleared it out, that's significantly easier.
And I love how multi-level this dungeon is.
Yes.
It's
cool. A nice, huge vertical space, wide open. Yeah. You see that poor Paragon's lost an arm.
Yeah. I just want to double check that I'm playing on... Okay, so I'm definitely playing on normal. Okay. So, I happen to know that there is a dwarf here. So but what I could have done is bring up my tactical cam and scout it ahead.
Instead of being slightly prescient.
Yeah, So you can see, so tactical cam, obviously, it's back on all the platforms. It's really bringing in that sense of that you had with Dragon Age Origins.
You've got ground rings.
Ground rings. And when we first got ground rings in, do you remember that? It was like...
everyone started cheering.
Like, oh my god, ground rings!
Yeah, I remember that. It was during the E3 review. We were getting ready, and we were like, "Okay, we're going to showcase TACAM nice and early." And the first time ground rings came up, the whole room burst into applause. It was like, "Yeah!"
So here you can do like basic attacks. You can swap between the characters here. Tell them to give.
And in fact, if you do multiple characters with attacking, you'll see that the target kind of queues up, and you can see who else is going to be doing basic attacks on him. Just press A on one of them. And there, you'll see Vivian's been added as well.
That's
so you can kind of tell who's going to be targeting each individual character as you sweep around.
Exactly. And then what I can do is, at least on the controller, is hold down the trigger and it starts timing and you can see everything play out. Yeah.
On PC, that's a remappable key.
Exactly.
So,
that's right. You
can be playing the whole combat in this mode. You can toggle between the modes.
Yeah.
Of course, you can get some pretty wicked screenshots.
This is really cool.
Like, this guy's like, I wish you were here because look at me.
Yeah,
determined.
Exactly.
So determined.
The model guy, yeah. So this is really cool. What we found is that the players, the more people get their hands on these, this tactical cam and real time, as they swap between the two quite fluidly. Yeah. Which I think is really neat. It's a great byproduct of creating this new system that allows us to move time forward.
Shamey's dead. That needed a shield bash.
Yeah.
So
can you fall off those ledges?
Yeah, worth noting. You can.
I could.
As a player, if you fall off, you will reset and come back up. If you send an NPC sailing off those ledges, then they will be able to. They will die. They will die absolutely horribly, and it's immensely satisfying.
It is.
Cassandra, in particular, has a couple moves that are very, very good for sending guys flying with the shield, doing bashes.
So I'm just going to run around for a little bit, Mike, and.
Can we know all was over here yourself right now?
It can be. It's contextual.
Up to you,
Yeah. If you don't have a quest tracked, then it will turn off. You can also turn it to be off all the time, on all the time. Up to you. built into.
That's
the options
right,
menu.
and it's the same with things like damage floaters. You know, you've seen some damage floaters coming up there. I've changed my config to only have damage floaters for my controlled character.
You can do the whole party.
You can do the whole party. You
Yeah.
can do, I think, none as well.
Yeah, you can say none. I don't want any damage for this.
That's right.
So we had a guy come down around here. Now, another thing worth noting, the armor that Cameron is wearing on his main character, we'll take a look at in a sec, is the one of the suits you get if you pre-order.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, we did
get
some
some-
cool stuff this time around. In fact, coming up very soon, we're going to dig in on crafting and customization. Actually, just looking at a QA, you guys have sent in some questions. How does that work? Walk us through it. So I've written up an intro. But here's one of the things that's very neat: is that armor has a pattern that determines its appearance. But
Yeah.
once you have it, you're going to get a starter set of armor if you pre-order the game. You're also going to get the schematic for that armor, meaning that you could be building that armor out of dragon scale, out of the best materials in the game. If you really like the look, you can actually invest some time into crafting and make that armor out of like top tier stuff.
That's right.
In fact, you can do that with almost every armor in the game. You can find a schematic for it, buy it, recover it from some ancient tag, and once you have it, you can then use the Inquisition attachment to build it.
Thank God you're here because I can't talk and drive.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably good. There's two.
I'd end up with like game face.
with you just
Cheese.
There is cheese. There's cheese and sausage links. We've really broadened out our food in the dungeon spectrum.
Are there any sort of basic needs? Do you need to eat or sleep?
No, we haven't gone big on eating or sleeping. What slightly pushes into that territory though is the change we've made. The change we've made to health.
That's right. Let's talk about health because we're going through a dungeon
Yeah.
now and it's sort of slowly
Yeah.
coming down as we get into more.
So, in fact, pull your left trigger. Just bring that. Now you notice Cassandra, the Inquisitor, and Vivienne are slightly hurt. You can see their health bar is depleted. That's a result. Health doesn't come back instantly after combat anymore. It can be restored via potions. In fact, if we pull up the tactical wheel, we can.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Nope.
Oh, that
There,
one.
that one, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a stack of potions. You can also carry additional potions on a per character basis
That's
that
right,
are
yeah.
regeneration.
Yeah.
There's a grenade you can throw to heal your party as well. But ultimately, you'll notice it's 8 of 8. That's a limited resource. You don't have an unlimited number of potions available.
Yeah.
Meaning that you have to play a little more strategically. Think long term, not just win this fight, but like, how am I going to survive fight after fight after fight?
Yeah.
And Cam's playing him normal, so it's not gonna crush him.
No.
But he is able to go through those encounters, and even then he's taking a bit of damage. One element that's worth noting.
I'm also picking up some crafting material
Oh, yeah.
here as well. So Darkstone, this is a great area for Darkstone. And each materials.
Drakestone.
Oh, it was a Drake, sorry.
Yeah.
Each I can't read.
Yeah.
Each type of crafting material has different stats, which I'll pause over for a sec. So I don't know what this one has, but like it might be like +2 to magic and or defense, and that will change depending on what slot you inserted into in the schematic of the equipment that you want to craft.
Yep, absolutely. So if you use higher tier metals, your armor base value will be higher,
Yep.
and then each schematic, especially as they level up, they have a lot more utility slots and defense slots, and depending on I'm going to use this leather and this metal, you'll come away with different stats.
Yeah.
But anyway, to talk through damage, one of the mechanics we mentioned is to kind of get away from the idea of the heal spam mage. That's the heal.
Yeah.
Is that instead the whole party kind of works together.
Whoa.
Oh, you sir have that is Blink.
That is Blink.
And you've zoomed off of the slide. So it lets you move very quickly through combat. Great for evading dragon fire and such.
Yep.
So as a party, you can have your mages set up barrier. You'll notice the Inquisitor right now has that swirling blue around him and a bar overlaid. That barrier will eat damage, so it prevents it. Warriors can build up something called guard. If you challenge a foe, if you taunt a foe, if you shield block or parry, there are many ways warriors can build up their guard stat. And guard, which you'll see again on the Inquisitor and Cast now, are those silver bars, and they act like an ablative health. So in a lot of ways, the warrior is as responsible for healing themselves,
Yes.
almost as a preventative measure.
Yeah.
It really changes the gameplay dynamic. It means you don't have heal spam. It means your mages can be a lot more focused on crowd control, and your warriors can be a lot more focused on protecting themselves.
That's right. Now there is a revive kind of
Absolutely.
Spell, right? Like at the end of the spirit tree.
So there's a revive spell which allows you to get someone up at range. You can also, if you're willing to spend the time, run someone over and press A or hold A or interact by right-clicking, so that you can get any character back up during combat. It's slow.
Yeah.
Whereas the spell is like he's up and suddenly heals. You can even invest in some really high-end alchemy and get a potion, like a throwable grenade that can revive people from
that's
unconscious.
Now, last
Does
time,
the pre-order content give any inherent advantage to players?
Oh, so pre-order basically changes your variety visually. You have this sword available. You have new armor available, and at the very beginning, you're granted weaponry that kind of matches the starting class you pick. So if you pick an archer, you will have a bow delivered to you and a suit of light or medium armor. But in terms of like long-term advantage, not really. It just gives you yet another avenue for customization.
it does. Now, this is the Carter leader, so this is who
We're going to do a tougher encounter
someone
here for sure.
Inquisitor pulled that guy over.
Yep. So the Inquisitor being two-hander is very good at single targets. He's also good in a mix. You can actually build him one of two ways. Two-hand tanking is possible.
Yep. You can see the low health. So you can see when they sort of flash low health, and then one of them's drinking a potion to pull up. Quickly putting the barrier in there as well.
Yeah.
So this is definitely tough to fight for my level. So these guys are level 8. I'm level 7. Those guys are brutal.
A fight like this, you can be really well served. There's a couple of different strategies Cam can use. If you can keep the guys clustered, which you can do with World Pride with Cassandra, then that's really good on potions as well. So this fight's getting
It's
nasty.
not
If you can get them clustered, you can throw up and throw Caltrops in with Barrack.
Yep.
You can use your two-hander behind him. Being behind a guy naturally gets you a bonus for your chance to crit. Oh, that was actually a skull detonator. That guy was electrified and you hit him with a multi. That's why he died in that cataclysm of lightning. Oh, and we've lost Cass. Tank down.
But we did win.
We did win.
So come up, but now, I mean, what have we got? Like 2 potions left.
Yeah.
And I'm barely scratching the surface of this dungeon. So this is another cool thing. So what I'm doing here is I'm hitting one of the sticks, and that's sort of highlighting some of the interactables in the world. So loot, things like that. It's kind of like,
so-
was it shift in the past?
Actually, a couple things. It would be tab,
Tab,
for
yeah,
the
that's right,
traditional,
yeah.
And in fact, you can again map it anywhere you want on PC.
Yeah.
One thing that came up there, you notice the power notifier
Yes,
came
we
up
should
as
talk
well
about that,
as
yeah.
Inquisition perks.
Yeah.
So power, for those who've been following along, is how you grow the Inquisition. Think of the Inquisition as a character, and power is like its XP.
Yeah.
Actually, no, power is more like its gold, and then influence is its XP. When you have power, it basically is a currency you can spend to progress the story, to open up new areas to explore, to pursue new objectives. There's a couple of pieces of content that are kind of hidden away behind those.
Yep.
There's even mid-level areas where you can identify like, oh, this bridge has been shattered in the fighting. I plant my banner, go back to my war table, and spend power to open that.
And
bridge
that's
back.
really, and then when you come back there, there's
Oh
completely
yes,
built.
it's not only
and it's
repaired,
like, yeah.
but now your flag is flying on it.
Yeah,
which
one of the
feels
cool things in Hinterlands, a guy asked you to build guard towers to protect a village.
Absolutely.
Finding those spots and then coming back and having those built with your power.
Yeah.
Inquisition power.
With
Coming back
guys
and seeing
saluting
those.
you,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Inquisitor.
it's really cool,
Yeah, it's very satisfying.
It is.
We had kind of an idea we had, which is what if you could make your mark on the world and have
Absolutely.
more of an impact. So anyway, in gaining power, you can gain it by questing, you can gain it by pursuing objectives, mapping an area. There's any number of ways to get power, and there's more of it than you absolutely need to complete the game.
Yep.
Meaning that you may have a very different experience from your friend and say, I didn't even go to that particular desert. So it's a locked door, so you need a rope to open that. We also, I don't know if we went through it, but there was I saw a wall that you could knock down if you had a warrior.
There was, yeah. There's different sort of barrier types in the game. Like there's some really interesting magic barriers as well that the mages are really useful for, obviously. And then locked doors are the equivalent for a rogue, right? But we wanted something for everyone, regardless of the character, and try and give you some
friendly fire, and can you cast abilities and spells out of combat?
Yes and
okay.
yes.
Yes and yes, actually. So friendly fire is separate mode in the game, so it's not tied to difficulty. It's basically just an option you toggle on. One word of warning is that the AI can get a little punchy when it comes to friendly fire, so you may want to turn off, hey, fireball when I see a cluster of guys. That said, for players that are going to play very tactically and kind of micromanage their party, friendly fire can be an amazing challenge, and it's really just a challenge add. What was the other one there called?
And can you cast an ability out of combat?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, unlike previous days, you have free attack, free cast. You can barrier your party.
There's me doing it.
Yeah, and in fact, so philosophically, we wanted to make sure that you could prepare.
That's
for
right.
combat.
Yeah.
So while barrier will burn down over time, so you can't cast it and then run around forever. Things like being able to lay down traps, things like being able to enter stealth, all those things.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure that there was never a situation where you really wanted to do it, but you had to get close enough to aggro guys.
Exactly. Like if I was actually an intelligent person, what I would have done in that tougher fight was prepare. So I would have cast barrier before I went in through the door. I would have laid down some traps at the front of the door.
Yeah, caltrops
aggroed
in
the
the door.
guys, brought them back into the door, had my warrior, probably Cassandra because she's spec'd as a tank, hold that position at the door, and then start to AoE in. But
Yep.
I'm not intelligent, so I didn't do it.
So yeah, charge right on in.
That's right. So this is a cool piece. So there's lots of different collectibles in the game. That one in particular is really cool because you can take it back to Skyhold and start to form this picture and have people sort of investigate what this mosaic collection is starting to tell us the story of that mosaic. And there's a variety of things like that. So I was trying to find some Darkspawn bowstrings in some of these guys I've been killing because you can take those back and they're part of the creature research that you can do as well in your library.
Darkspawn are down further.
Yeah, I'm going to get my butt kicked.
Yeah.
Because I've got no health and there's a tough...
Oh, you'll be fine.
And if your characters fall in battle, are there lasting injuries from that?
We've gone away from lasting injuries because there's an elf.
Yeah, this is
because of the permanent health
Well, let's see
damage.
if it's
Injuries was a system we had in DAO and DA2 where it permanently damaged you. But entering into combat at 10% health or 25% health, it scales based on difficulty. Seemed penalizing enough.
I'm so going to die. Why do you make me die, Mike?
Well, because it gives you a chance to get
Because I remember.
it gives you a chance to breathe, to feel truly at ease. Oh, he's about to go berserk. Bam. Yeah.
You know,
Yep. Now,
Barrick's going to run away and leave Vivian down there.
so notably,
All right, now I'm going to go.
Here's the thing is, you could see when he lifted his maul over his head,
Yeah.
I was able to call what he was going to do.
Yeah.
As you play through the game, creatures have habits and behaviors, and you can start to learn what they're going to do so that you can start to anticipate.
Yes.
If you've been playing tactically, you could have used your pause and play and attack him and actually pulled everybody back from him, and he actually would have just stood there kind of flailing because once they go berserk, they go berserk.
Yeah.
You could have interrupted him using a shield bash, payback strike, something like that, or a stone fist.
Yep.
Or, final option, you could have just soaked it with your tank.
I could have.
You could have done that as
Yes,
well.
shield wall obviously is very useful for that.
Yeah.
So I just died. What we might do is we might take some Q&A.
Sure,
But while we do that, I'm going to just load into Hinterlands
Okay.
because we've seen that before, and but I'll just run around and
Have something prettier on the screen than us.
Yeah,
Monday
exactly.
morning, or
yeah.
fair enough.
Okay, so hit us with questions, guys.
Yep.
So if the combat's too tough, can you run away for a while?
You can.
You can,
You
yeah.
can disengage from virtually any
Like a
combat. in the
coward.
game. Yeah. And what it will do if your characters are unconscious, it will pull them behind you. They get back up, sorely wounded.
Yes, often using their limited health potions, of
Yeah.
course. So there's definitely a cost to doing it.
Yeah, but yes, in a lot of ways, we want you to be able to scout an encounter as well. Sending someone stealth in and kind of target locking them and going, oh, that guy's level 12. I should not be here. Or, hey, I'm going to give it a try. Lets you kind of engage with the content up to the difficulty you want.
That's right. More questions.
They're hoping to see some tactical cam combat once we get into it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Some tactical cam combat.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been a request you guys have had for quite a while. So first off, to defeat the mighty Fennec
Yes. And his friend.
and his friend, the August Ram. Yes.
Yes.
That's not an August Ram. That's a normal Ram. I'm sorry. I apologize to Ram.
Do you know that you can chain shot these guys?
Yes.
I only found out the other day. I was chain shotting
Absolutely.
nugs and pulling them towards me. I love killing nugs.
So in this case, you're kind of a bad man.
I am.
Right now, there's a Tumblr page being made.
Is it?
Basics. Obviously, I'm going to use a long shot and a winter's grasp to pin it in place. You see the ice go off, and then long shot has a long draw to be able to fire at any point. And of course, this is the least challenging encounter in the game.
Yes.
But starting time, stopping time, and there's long shot hit. So there's nothing left of our
Yeah.
core deer.
Let's go find some guys. Like
some real challenges.
Some actual enemies.
Absolutely.
Are the deluxe edition
Yes.
items tied to just a single playthrough?
No, any item that you're receiving via like a DLC or like a pre-order bonus or whatever would start every time you started a new game. Yeah, we don't want them to be.
So they Templars.
So these guys here, in fact, we can lock onto them and get an idea. So here we have part of the Templar fight that's happening. So these guys present a much more interesting challenge than a singular fox. Here we have an archer. Glowing arrow indicates he's about to do a special move. So there, what I'd want to do is shut him down, ideally with a Winter's Grasp. This guy presents a really interesting
Yeah.
challenge in that
Big shield there to deflect
he
spells
will
and arrows.
spells and any range attack is
Yeah.
basically going to bounce right off him.
Oh, there's another one
Also,
there.
notable while I'm scouting, this guy's hiding over here. This isn't my build, so I'll have to take a look. But what we're going to try and do, oops, I accidentally moved Vivian. Apologies.
Winter's Grasp.
Winter's Grass.
Okay.
That tree was in my way. What I want to do is move Cassandra over here so that I can then challenge to
And
turn him.
turn it around. Yeah,
Leaving him
exactly.
exposed to
Yeah.
Varric, who's going to set him up as a base target once he's turned. Right now, if I use Varric on him, literally.
Do you want to
nothing
tell
would happen.
Varric then to hold position?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we want to keep our range character back. We can move into a position. You'll notice here he's now going to hold. That means he won't move from that position. If it's a melee character, an enemy will come in within essentially this glowing radius, and that's where they'll attack.
Now, can
And
we
with our
adjust
wizard.
the difficulty mid-game?
You can,
Yep.
absolutely. There are, fair warning, there are achievements for difficulty, and it's essentially a high watermark. So
Yes.
if you drop the difficulty down from nightmare to hard, you're going to only be able to get the achievement for hard. That said, difficulty achievements are, they're
Cool.
for a special class of player.
Yes, that's right.
And are runes coming back, and are there legendary items of any kind?
Yes,
Yes.
and yes. Yes.
Runes are
absolutely.
really cool. So enchantment, absolutely there. There's runes.
In
there's
fact-
a whole bunch of different customization over the weapons.
Yeah,
you
I'll have
need
to have
to
it
be-
combat,
yeah.
but I'll be able to show you this guy. This guy's sword is flaming because it has a rune.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we've taken down that archer. Now with Cass, what
Let's
we want to do
challenge.
is we want to turn him. So challenge is a single target taunt. It'll cause him to be like, oh hey, I don't care about this Inquisitor guy. And you notice here, obviously, with the trees, this is a little more challenging location, but you have complete control over the camera, so you can always get into a good position for the fight. Now that he's turned, we have to make sure. Where's this archer? He's still holding position over there. So we're going to get him turned. We're going to want Varric should turn in about this time. I'm wishing I had a lightning spell right now, but it looks like
Yeah,
it's,
I don't-
I'm out of mana for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So Vivienne will continue to attack until we get that running.
Can you tell us a bit about how levels work, and is there a level cap, and do your enemies scale with you in that?
So enemies don't scale to your level.
Electricity
right? So-
vulnerability says lightning.
Yes. So as you explore the world, there's many different areas with a lot of different variety in these massive exploration areas.
Bang.
The enemies in that will be a variety of levels. So there's sort of like some challenging areas, even the hinterlands, even though this is the first area that you get into in the game. But yeah, the enemies in these areas don't auto scale to your level. The main plots are a little bit different.
Right.
Yeah.
The plots have a scale within a range, and when you access them, again via the war table, you start them like a big, say 11 to 14 or something along those lines. Now this guy, I think, may be withdrawing right now. There we go. By sitting him down on his back as well, we've made it. Oh, he's burning and shocked, so he's actually taking damage
Yeah,
over
so
time.
can you hit him with a mighty blow?
Let's see if I have it available. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, I do. So shocked, I can detonate.
Yeah.
It's like a cross-class combat. So we'll let the mighty blow go off. Oh, it's wide open.
Yeah.
There we go. No longer shocked. Took the big damage from that. Still on fire. Perfect.
So you want to say something about this
Are you
one?
able to show us a little bit of crafting and how that works, and maybe the inventory system?
We can show some
I
inventory
can,
stuff. but
I can show a
probably
bit of
not
stuff
crafting.
around potions. That's
Potions,
probably
yeah.
that we can do
Okay.
pretty easily.
Well, I mean, the base camp was further back, and you can travel to it. I
Yeah,
guess.
we can quick travel to it. That's part of that. So archers have a behavior. You'll just notice he just executed where when they're under threat,
They'll
they
move
will
back,
try to
yeah.
fall back.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's interesting because they'll try and fall back behind some of those guys with
Yeah.
big shields too.
Yeah, yes, they will, absolutely. Now, what
Yeah,
he can't fall back from is being sat down. Nobody's fallen back from that. We'll do another challenge. You'll notice when I do a challenge and it executes that Cassandra is going to build up guard as part of that. Taunting and other activities are kind
So
of
that
warrior
guard, that
focused.
was that little silver thing that
Yeah.
went over there.
That's exactly it. So that's some more health for her ablative.
Yeah.
And, hey,
There's a little quest there, and there's some logging stuff there too.
These
Uh-huh.
renegades sully the name of the
All right, so
temple.
we've got a ton of questions. I think
All
we'll
right.
move into Q&A.
I will go look at crafting and we can keep answering questions
Yep.
here.
Okay.
Logging
For
stands
sure.
are part of the crafting system, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, ask away.
Okay, so how easy is the easiest setting?
The casual setting.
It's designed to be pretty,
Yeah, it's pretty
easy,
easy,
actually.
yeah.
So you still have to be engaged in the combat, but our goal is to make sure that you really only need to focus on one character. You don't need to be constantly swapping
That's
and
right.
switching. Instead, you want to be able to have an experience, but there will still be some challenge there. It's not like an auto-win combat or anything like that.
Are there any dual-wield warriors?
Dual Wield Warriors that we have already confirmed is not back. I'm well aware it's a very popular request.
And what about a corruption type plot path where you can be the bad guy?
Certainly, the Inquisitor is not necessarily. Oh, is this the build where crafting's broken?
Could be.
It may be. This is the build where crafting's broken.
Let me restart this.
We will restart and we will do some lovely touring. So the Inquisitor absolutely can be a bad guy, not the shining paragon. But in terms of hey, can I completely change the plot into one where I've sided with the bad guy? We shied away from that. There comes a point at which the absolutely vast amount of content we did not need an entirely absolutely vast amount of secondary content.
Now, will your archers and mages run always whenever they're attacked by melee characters, or will they have some melee of their own?
Archers and mages do not have like a melee attack when they have a bow equipped. They have a number of evade and escape abilities. There's any number of ways they can respond to being attacked. Archers can leap out of combat and fire kind of a knockdown shot. There's sleeping dust you can throw at your foes. We've shown that at E3.
Some cool combos with that too.
Yeah, all kinds of cool stuff. Back to the Hinterlands.
So, can you talk a little bit about where this falls between the combat you see in Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2?
Sure, yeah. Cam, you want to do high level?
Yeah, I mean, high level, Origins was quite a slow combat system. A lot of tactical cam usage, I guess, in that.
Well, on PC only.
So, yeah, on PC. DA2 certainly was a lot faster, a lot more responsive. DAI, so for Inquisition, what we tried to do is go somewhere in the middle. We wanted to have more weight behind the combat animations and the feel of being in this sort of combat encounter. So you'll see, when you're swinging down around your two-handed sword, it feels a lot heavier. There's a lot more weight behind it, and so that's part of the the change that we made to the real-time combat. And then obviously bringing in tactical camera back with its full suite of abilities, like we had in Origins, lets you sort of chop and change between the two as much as you want.
Exactly. And I think in a lot of ways the ability choices range from a little more active to a little more tactical.
Yes.
A lot of preparatory abilities that disappeared for DA2 are back. Again, traps, throwing out caltrops, glyphs, mines, putting up walls of ice to block archers.
That's right.
All those things are very tactical. In fact, they're things that you couldn't do. You couldn't really block pathing and that kind of stuff in Origins.
No, and I think that's actually something worth talking about, because the environment does play a part in combat far more than the previous game. So if you can find, even when you're exploring an area, you might find a little valley. So if you can get you guys up to the top each side, and you put your warrior down the middle, or create some ice, then you can trap people in a spot. If you have a warrior defending a particular area, you've got rock walls on each side. Maybe you have a mage cast a wall of ice behind them as they come in, and now they're locked into a kill box while your range classes are up top. So, yeah, you're just following the E3.
I am following you.
So, yeah, I mean, environment does play a lot more of a part in this than either of the two games.
And if we kill enemies in an area, do they come back? Do they repopulate?
Enemies do. What the game does is it constantly tracks what you've been doing recently. So we've talked about this before. If you go hunting rams for meat or something like that, or you're trying to get leather for a coat of armor.
I want to go to a really cool, beautiful
absolutely.
spot. It's going to take a while.
What will happen is that the population will start to dwindle until eventually you're left with none in the area, none respawning. Over time, that population will grow back up again. Enemies like the High Dragons do not respawn. Their permanent kills essentially made the area safe. That does result in power for the Inquisition, because everybody's like a big fan of you as a result. And there are some encounters that will not respawn because they're kind of tied to the story or they're specific. But if you're in an area that's basically a bandit stronghold, you can expect to find bandits there in general.
Okay, I'm going to try and skip something.
So how content dense is the open world?
Pretty dense. There's a lot of different encounters for you to have. A lot of side quests for you to pursue, and every area has its own theme. That's something we've talked about. When you first arrive in the Hinterlands, it's made very clear that the Mage Temple conflict is one of the main things happening here. But in addition to that, there's smugglers, there's Carta operations, there's the dragon, there's stuff happening up at Redcliffe tied to the Mage story. All these things are part of the kind of the tapestry that the space wields.
How does health regenerate on easy difficulty?
On easy, you recover more health when you are downed or as part of an end of combat event, but it doesn't come back to full.
And how will we know how our companion relationships are going? Is there any kind of thing that tells us how much they like us?
We don't have a bar or a numbers system. Because we wanted to get away from it feeling too gamey. Instead, we've baked that into the character themselves. The way they greet you, the way they interact with you, whether or not they've had new content for you to pursue, is all an indication of how things have been going in terms of your relationships.
There's a bear fighting something.
It's
a
I think it's
bandit?
rare. You can lock onto him. It's probably a bandit, given where you are. Oh, bear.
Fighting
Oh,
an outlaw.
I think the bear's going to win.
The bear's probably gonna win. I saw
bears-
some bears fighting some wolves the other day. There was
Yeah.
like 2 bears and like 4 wolves. I'm like, yeah, good luck, wolves.
Yeah, good luck, wolves. Yeah.
All right,
4
so
wolves hit pretty hard.
We're going to take a couple final questions.
Yep, okay.
Just
Sorry, actually, let me finish the one thing. So the one other big thing is on a per line basis, if a character approves or disapproves, you will be notified of that. In fact, you'll be able to see they slightly approve or greatly approve. So you can track how your standing with them has been through that. But we wanted to get away from +10. It felt too gamey. It didn't feel very natural in the interaction.
Oh, I'm being chased. Okay.
You, sir, have met some bandits.
And they brought the bears.
And the bear came. Well, that's fine.
And can we change what our companions are wearing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, complete control over the equipment of your companion characters. So it's armor, the
Hats.
weapons, hats,
V-tar,
the whole
yeah.
thing. So it'll still try and keep a relative feel for that character without completely changing. So you don't want to have, say, Cassandra walk around in this big clunky round suit of armor.
Yeah.
You still want it to look like Cassandra, but it definitely does change her look substantially.
And
Though
is this-
it is notable, there are some classes of armor, like if you get Templar armor and put it on Cassandra, it will look like Templar armor.
Yes.
So there are some that are kind of like almost heraldry armor is a way to think of them.
And is it just turn-based combat, or is there active combat?
This is what we're looking at right now. This is
Yep.
all played in real time.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can play turn-based if you go tactical, but in real time you can absolutely issue your orders and proceed from there. And of course, the co-op mode and multiplayer is played all in real time. There is no tactical camera for that.
Come back.
Oh, you may have to use a bow
Yes.
to hunt, sir.
So yeah, I mean, killing these little creatures, that can give you crafting materials as well, like furs and leathers and stuff like that. So
And a hollowness inside.
yes.
Okay, and
Who needs a bow when you've got a... Anyway, sorry.
after Cameron has killed the poor innocent woodland creatures, I
Yeah.
think we'll end on that note.
Yeah, I think so. Well, hopefully this has been, you guys have seen some interesting stuff today. The character creator we know is near and dear to everyone's heart, so it's been good to be able to show that off.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. My understanding is, I think this will be archived, Connell.
I believe this is archived.
Yeah. So we're gonna have this available, so you can tell your friends if they want to take a look. Listen to Cameron and I ramble for a while.
Yes.
Here's something we'd love is some feedback on this. If you guys enjoyed this, you want us to do some more Twitch streams. Hey, we're pretty open to it.
Yep.
It's been fun, and actually we've done the setup now.
Yes.
So if you want to look at Cam's office, here we go.
Yeah.
And on top of that as well, if you have any questions, further stuff on what you've seen, you can find us on Twitter. You can find that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll try and answer them to the best of our abilities.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks for checking us out.